G'day and welcome to this Fusion video tutorial. In today's video tutorial I'm going to be going over the use of multiple windows in presentation to a client. If we're fortunate enough to have multiple monitors or more than one monitor, we can use various windows to update our design screen on plan view, whereas a client will be seeing the perspective renders or elevation views. In order to enable multiple windows, we just go to our window menu and we click new window, and you'll see that on my other monitor the plan view has been brought up. I can right click over here, select elevation, and you'll notice that the plan view is not changed, or I can go to my perspective view. And in perspective, what it's going to do is take my last saved view in my perspective in the actual design screen. And so if we come to perspective on the design screen, which was previously saved in Future Vision, I'm just going to stop this and go to wireframe. You'll notice that both views are exactly the same. So what we can do is, in this view we can actually right click and change the different render settings. I can change it to draft, right click, change it to color vision, future vision, whatever it is that you would like to do. If I come to my plan view and let's maybe take a look at that wall unit there, we'll right click, we're taking a look at this wall unit here. I'm going to select that wall one door. Maybe I want to change it to a glass door, so I come through to my add palette. Let me first check the dimensions. There are 500 by 1 meter, and this one is 1401 off the ground. So I'm going to go WG1D, keep it 500, change that to 1 meter, and off the ground I'll just put the 1401, and we'll say replace. As you can see, automatically it updates in my second window. I'm going to select OK. Now we can have more than one window. If I just reduce the size of this, crop it down, I can go to my new windows option and put in a new window, and we can then also resize this one and have different views that we can show to our clients. Now if we have this in render setting of Future Vision, we'll just pause the video while it renders. There we have the rendered product, so we can show our plan view or maybe change that to an elevation. We have this in perspective view. Let's say for instance we need to make multiple changes for the client, but we don't want to have this render each and every single time we make a change. We just right click and select freeze. I'm going to do it on this one as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the worktop colors and put in another glass door and make this a flap door. So I'll right click on my plan here, select my wall E unit, take a wall glass extracted flap, place that, probably have to go into elevation view just to set the height correctly. Just control can drag that up, just say okay. Now you can imagine that each time I make a change inside this design, if that was to re-render, it could take quite some time, and the client I'm sure doesn't have that time to sit around. So I just need to increase the height of this door unit to 460. I'll select the wall one door as well and put in the WG1D. 1 meter in height, right opening, and 1401 off the ground, replace. We've made our various changes, and if I select unfreeze, you'll see that this one now jumps to the current elevation, and unfreeze here. This will now calculate and re-render. While it's rendering, I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, and there we have our finished rendered product. You'll notice you won't actually be able to do any editing of the units within these two windows. This unit remains highlighted. I can't select it. In order to deselect that highlight, I need to deselect it on this monitor here. Now, in order to get different views, what we'll need to do is I'm going to freeze this pane again and this one and go to my perspective render, and we'd have to define different views in order to be able to have different views of perspectives in either one of these windows. So if I just adjust my viewpoint from that corner looking in this direction, I'm going to just go to my named views at the top here and select define. I'll just give it a name of perspective 1. Also OK. And I'm going to come through to this corner and look over here. And we'll go define new named view, and we'll call that perspective 2. Now if I come through to either one of these windows and freeze it, go to my named view, there I will see perspective 1 and perspective 2. I can click on perspective 1, render it in draft, and there you will see we have two separate renders. If I go and select the unit WGD1, let's actually unfreeze this and make this perspective 1, perspective 2, and we can then go and delete that unit from here, and you'll see that it updates both the pictures simultaneously. Render set in draft. I'm just going to undo that change. And we have unit back in the design. Last thing I'm going to cover is what we can use these new windows for if we've only used it on one computer. I'm just going to close that window there and drag this window through onto my design screen. If I right click, you'll see there's an option here called always on top. I can minimize this down to a particular size and have this window open anywhere on the design. And regardless of where I click, I will always have this window on top. If I just take that always off on top off, I select in the design, you can see that it disappears. So by having this always on top, it works nicely in maybe setting up your lighting. If you're trying to get the idea of what your lighting needs to be, but you don't want to have to jump back from perspective to plan all the time, you can just go and set your lighting up in this view, and you'll see the auto updates happening on this little screen here. So if I was to go and let's have a render set in Future Vision, and I'm going to add a sun into this light here. Let's just go to Advanced Graphics, just type in Star Sun, add a sun into this window. As I add it into plan view, I'll be able to automatically see what the result of that is in the small little window over here. So there's another functional feature of the adding a new window in your design screen. Okay, I don't think my sun was positioned in the best of places. Can't see too much of a result, but I'll show you that it has given some lights inside that area. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and was able to learn something new. Until next time, goodbye.